Okay, I'm going to call the Committee of the Whole meeting for October 8th. Please rise for invocation by our mayor, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
We're grateful this evening to live in the United States of America. We're grateful this evening to have liberties extended to us, to assemble freely, and to govern independently. We ask tonight to the Creator of the universe to give us wisdom as we proceed in the business for this borough. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to have our subcommittee reports, but then one little change. The Montgomery County Sustainability Plan will be moved up right after our committee, so we're going to move them up ahead of the others. So they have some pressing engagements later on. So, infrastructure, Councilor Cole?
You have minutes in your...
Anything anyone wants to comment on? Or?
I do. I'd like to add. During the Codes and Infrastructure meeting on September 18th, Councilor Culp had expressed some concerns about the overall neglect and appearance of the west end of the borough. On Saturday, October 4th, I had the opportunity to take some time and take a closer look. I started at the west end of the borough. What I saw at best was disappointing. In June, Borough Council voted unanimously to outsource the mowing of borough properties to Green Advantage Landscaping at a cost of nearly $36,000 for a 5-month period from June through October 31st. It was my understanding that by hiring a contractor to mow and care for borough properties, it would free up time for our borough clean and lean guys to place much needed focus on the care of neglected privately and bank-owned properties. Unfortunately, as a result of that decision, borough properties were cared for in a haphazard fashion. Some properties were not mowed at all summer, along High Street and Industrial Avenue. Others were not mowed to completion, as 562 Beach Street is an example of only half a tree box was mowed. Weed whacking was not done at all along our entryways, High Street, College Drive, Hanover Street, Industrial Avenue, and the medium strips along West King Street. And other areas, including along College Drive, were mowed atop litter, trash, aluminum cans, and everything else that was in the path, with no forethought to pick up before or after mowing. When I think of the definition of landscaping, I think the art of beautifying the landscape. Now, maybe these things were not spelled out word for word in the contract. However, it is a poor representation of Pottstown, and that's just bad business. I believe there are better ways we could have spent the money to benefit the residents of Pottstown, and for that I apologize for my vote on this expenditure. Moreover, what I found was that privately and bank-owned properties were not being taken care of either. I observed 2 vacant properties, 526 and 528 at West Chestnut Rice Streets, with grass 2.5 feet high. Groups of shopping carts gathering along West High Street and West King Street. Piles of junk, mattresses, tires, and furniture dumped in several places along Charlotte Street for all passersby to see. That's not even including what is left in the alleys. This is no fault of our clean and lean guys. They can only do what is assigned to them by management. And I do not use the term our guys lightly. These men are dedicated to the community and are hardworking. They not only reside in our community, they own their homes here, pay property taxes, and diligently take care of their properties. They have skin in the game, and they are an invaluable asset. It seems to me we have a problem in the process. We should be empowering our guys to identify problems and issues that they come across on a daily basis. I would like to receive a copy of that list to forward to our borough manager for distribution of assignments to the appropriate department heads accordingly and see what a difference it makes. Because when I send anything to Mark to be handled, it gets done, and that's good management. I've been reviewing the new residential and rental transfer checklist, and I am pleased that our standards have improved. I will be even more pleased when we actually start enforcing those standards. I share the concerns of the community. I walk these streets, many of which are a war zone, despite all the really wonderful events we have happening here and a few fantastic new businesses that we have now acquired. We are long past the time of talk. The time to take action is now. That being said, 2 employees have been added to the L&I department, both with experience in an urban environment. 1 rental inspector that was to have started October 6th, and 1 administration person that was to be started today. I suspect that there will be a fallout from enforcement that has previously not taken place. And may I suggest that before considering any more proposals of outsourcing anything related to property maintenance, that we get our own house in order first. I'd also like to turn to, is Doug here? Great, Doug, can you tell the people what you did with Quinter Street, what you could do and what can't be done, and then also the delay of Edgewood Street for paving and when that will be completed?
Quinter Street, we went out and looked at it, and I sent the crew up there, and they patched the potholes and tried to level it out somewhat. Quinter Street is not ordained an adopted street, so we treat it just like we do an alley, which means we just patch it. As far as Edgewood's concerned, Edgewood Street will be totally reconstructed. First, though, we're going to put new water and sewer lines in the street from High Street over to Beach, and then we expect that to be complete sometime early next year, depending on how the winter is, and then we'll rebuild the whole road from High up to Beach, and then that'll get new curbs and sidewalks where we can. We won't do everything, but we'll do what we can with the sidewalks.
Yeah, I went on Quinter Street also. I mean, there's not even curbing on that street.
No, it's an alley.
I mean, it's a mess. I mean, it would probably cost $500,000 to $1 million to, because you'd have to rebuild it.
Well, certainly it has to be dedicated, and it's going to have to be curbed, it's going to have to be totally reconstructed. Yeah, we're certainly talking some money here. So we did what we could. I mean, that's all I can do.
And as far as the the gateways and so forth, the Western Gateway has always been a mess. And some of that is because you got PennDOT through their mowing or their lack of, or the Norfolk Southern and their mowing or their lack of, and so forth. And that's we contact these departments all the time about maintaining and so forth. And I agree that it doesn't dismiss the fact that whoever it was that we hired, is or isn't doing a good job, but certainly staff will look into that. Because some of the pictures you took that you sent were of along the railroad and so forth, and we don't maintain those. That's train company does that.
I think we had previously, so whether we were or not supposed to do that, we had been.
Well, you come down through there. I've picked trash up on that Western Gateway when we have cleanup days, and it's always a mess. That western end there is always a mess, and we're working on getting it better, but it's still not there yet. So, I mean, some of the things, I think once we get the Borough Garage up there in that end, and I think with the mini golf in there, and more activity occurring and so forth, I think a lot of that is going to help the Western Gateway.
And there's businesses there too that they have like fenced in areas that have all kinds of junk laying in them and stuff like that, and that's
Well,
something
the weeds
that
grow
hasn't
up
been.
in them, in the fences and so forth, and they just don't weed whack. So staff took note of the need and so forth, and they will address that. Anything else with infrastructure? Public safety, Vice President Gary?
Oh, with Monday being the holiday and Tuesday, I'm going to be in D.C. in the morning and early afternoon, so I'll be coming back just in time for the meeting, so we're not going to meet this month.
Okay. Economic development, anything, Erica?
Nothing new to report.
Okay. Transportation, Councilor Culp?
We have notes in our iPods.
I see work being done up at the airport, so that's
Yes.
a good thing. Ricketts Community Center, anything, Joe?
Yeah, a couple of bullet points I want to point out. The opening day for the 2014-15 after-school program, 22 children attended. That was September 8th. Olivet's own Paul Winterbottom facilitated fun field activities at the Montgomery County Fathers Matter initiative event held at Memorial Park. Borough employee and Rickett member Ernie Pineda won the strongest father competition. The article appeared in the Mercury the next day. This year, our after-school program has a new feature. We have teamed up with Soccer for Success. About 30 of our youth enjoy this free soccer program every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at the Hill School, Firefields number 3. The program starts September 15th and runs now through November 19th. The program will resume again in the spring, and we are ready to have a waiting list. In addition, 12 Hill School students, along with their facilitator, volunteer on a weekly basis with homework help, reading 101 with Olivet members, assisting members with writing their names, or participating in a friendly game of basketball. Also, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, our members enjoy a chess club facilitated by the Hill School students. Their leader, Solomon, is 6'11", freshman from California who is actively being recruited by many Division I schools. In partnership with the Mosaic Community Land Trust and Art Fusion, we started Healthy Family Nights, which run every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. We had 8 participants this past week. Healthy Family Nights consist of healthy cooking classes, distributing healthy lifestyle information, and creating a food journal. In addition, families have the option to work out with our in-house certified personal trainer, Paul Winterbottom, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's the report.
Okay, any questions for Councilor Kirkland? Okay, Pottstown School Board, I do not see Mr. Williams. Ad hoc zoning and animal, Councilor Miller.
Which one do you want first?
Your choice.
All right, we'll do the animal. The committee met on October 1st at the sewer treatment plant to tour our kennel and learn how the process is currently handled, from picking up animals, processing paperwork, writing citations, transferring animals, to billing for services. We're identifying areas of improvement for better protections for the animals, the people, and the community. It's a work in progress. We have a very dedicated committee, and I'd like to say a special thank you to Council President Taroni and Chief Drumheller for taking the necessary steps from conversation to inquiry of possible partnerships with surrounding townships. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, October 22nd, at which time we were going to be reviewing the ordinances for updates needed. All changes will be discussed with the district justices for suggestions and input before coming to council for a vote. Zoning, the committee is currently reviewing parking as it pertains to residential and commercial spaces and the problems that the borough is currently encountering. Based on our last committee meeting, our solicitor has prepared notes of suggested language changes to our current ordinance for review, discussion, and comments from committee members at our upcoming October meeting on Tuesday, the 21st. Additionally, the L&I director suggested that we retain the professional service of an outside agency to assist and aid in review of our zoning ordinances. Quite honestly, I am not in favor of this suggestion, nor am I uncomfortable bringing it up for discussion and vote, because we were missing a key member during our last meeting, Bob Johnson, who chairs the Zoning Review Board. I agree that upon last review of our ordinances, the whole borough picture was not taken into consideration, even though there was at least one very positive change that I can think of, and that was adding to the required square footage of space for first-floor residential dwellings in the traditional town neighborhoods. We currently have a fantastic attorney who knows and understands municipal law better than anyone, a very intelligent committee comprised of people who know best the needs of Pottstown, those of us who reside here, and an L&I director who, from my understanding, came to us fully certified with experience in municipal zoning. This is a new day and a new team, and I would like the chance to make necessary changes before wasting any more money on yet another study or review. We have plenty of valuable studies that have already been completed to guide us in the process. One of the reasons given was that an outside source could analyze the data we are expecting from the Good Landlord program in identifying hot spots in need of attention of codes. If the L&I director does not know where the hot spots are, and is very likely he does not because he does not reside here, I will gladly take him by the hand and show him at no charge. I am simply bringing up the idea based on unanimous consensus of committee members in attendance. It was agreed that an outside review would in no way change or affect the decisions the committee brings forth to council for vote to protect our town, its resources, businesses, and residents.
Any questions? Okay, Bicentennial Committee, Councilor Coleman.
We've had 3 meetings so far. It's a challenge because we don't have a whole lot of time, but we do have things are coming in together, and we also have a report that's in our minutes here that I'll give you some more of it. But we're getting things together, and it's we're trying to get as many meetings together as possible before the end of the year, and I think it's going to be coming together pretty good. So that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we're up to the council agenda. We're going to have now the Montgomery County Sustainable Plan with Meredith Curran-Trego and John Lesher. If you guys want to come forward.
Hi. Thank you so much for having us tonight. The idea, so we're going to give you a shortened version of a presentation that some of you have already seen regarding the sustainability plan. And the idea for a sustainability plan was brought to the county a little over a month ago, and we were invited to present on it to the Planning Commission. So myself and my colleague John Lesher, who is the county's environmental planner, attended last month's Planning Commission meeting where we presented a presentation similar to what you're about to see. We then went to the joint meeting of the school district and Borough Council and presented there as well. The point of being here tonight is just to bring everyone else who wasn't in attendance at those two meetings up to speed on this issue. So I'll hand it over to my colleague John, who will be presenting.
The other side of that, too, is that it'll be on camera so that the whole community will see basically how we're going to be moving forward with this.
Okay, excellent. Let me get this.
Get the cameras.
My name is John Lesher. I'm the Senior Environmental Planner with the Montgomery County Planning Commission. Thank you very much for having me tonight. What I plan on doing, as Meredith said, is to give you an abbreviated version of a presentation that we've done a couple of times throughout the course of the month to talk about the sustainability planning process. My presentation today is more of just a general discussion of sustainability planning. It's not a sales pitch to Pottstown in any way. It's more of an idea to give you an idea of what's involved in undertaking this plan and what are some of the advantages and disadvantages and issues that come along. So very quickly, we'll talk very briefly what is sustainability. We'll talk about the municipal role in sustainability planning, what our role has been, what we have done, and then very quickly to walk through the process that goes into writing a municipal sustainability plan. What you see up on the slide is from the Brundtland Commission. It is basically the classic, the universally accepted definition of sustainability, development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. And then underneath it, you see the classic Venn diagram, where you're talking about ecology, community, and economy. The key to take away from this is two. One, sustainability is very holistic. You know, you're talking about a broad range. It can reach into almost any aspect of the community. And then the aspect of that is, as you do a municipal sustainability plan, you know, one of the first things we need to do, we would need to do, is to really focus on what is sustainability for Pottstown. You know, what is the vision? What is the community's idea of sustainability and what works for them? For those of you who've heard me speak before, you probably know at this point I'm very conversational. My boss calls me folksy. I don't know if that's good or bad. At any point, feel free to stop me, ask a question, give a comment. The municipal role in sustainability. In my experience, it comes down to these 5 factors that really are how a municipality interacts with sustainability planning. The first one is the quality of life. In my head, that's really what the goal is for a municipal government, is to make it a more attractive place to live and to work. You know, we're here because, and I'm here because I work for the county, as public servants. We're here to make this community better. And then, of course, if you have happier voters and a better tax base and all those sorts of things, you know, but that really is the goal. A municipal government can only do certain things. You only have a certain amount of power and influence. You can't go into somebody's home and make them turn off the lights when they leave a room. You know, your level of influence is only so far. One of the things that municipal government can do is to lead by example, to show a community that certain things can be done. A recycling program can work. Green building can happen. You can have programs that are sustainable and that inspires those segments that you can't control through regulation or legislation, that these things can be done. I have to show this picture in the bottom. Cheltenham Township has an adopted municipal sustainability plan. It was one of, if not the first, in the southeast region of Pennsylvania. And that was a picture from their Arbor Day celebration where they were celebrating the Sustainable Cheltenham Plan. And the two fine specimens to the right are holly bushes that they planted in honor of the Montgomery County Planning Commission and myself for our work. So I can say that I have a shrub planted in my honor. Another thing that the sustainability planning effort really does is it organizes efforts. And it really fosters communication, both internally, where all the departments within the borough are talking together and to each other, to figure out how these projects can be done more efficiently and in a better way for the environment, for the economy, for the community. If you ever seen Office Space, you'll get the references with the bobs. This is a good experience. I've been very surprised in the conversations I've had with municipalities talking about sustainability planning and how they're excited for it and how they want to do things and how they all have ideas on how things can be done better. And then also externally, external communication, external efforts, how the municipality can work with all different sorts of partners and then get those partners to work together in their own projects. As I like to call it, the Pottstown players, as if you were a big band. You have a lot of good partners in Pottstown. You have educational institutions. You have nonprofits. You have a hospital. And you have a bunch of private industries, private partners who are interested in sustainability. And these stakeholders can be brought in to help work on this plan and really build partnerships and build cooperative efforts. There is the idea of saving money and resources. Fiscal responsibility is critical. Everybody needs to do more with less. I do like to say the caveat, not everything that is sustainable is going to save money. I can't promise you, it's not my job to be like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to save you X amount of dollars per year. A lot of things you do will. A lot of energy conservation things will save you money, but not everything. So there are going to be choices to be made. When it comes to this, one of the best examples are communities who do the sustainable, the energy savings actions that save money, that don't have a lot of capital investment, and then take those savings and use that, earmark that, to do the projects that have higher capital costs. And then you get, a sustainable fund, of making these projects happen. Really, when I talk to municipalities, if I had to bet on one aspect that is really what a sustainability plan is really useful for, one tangible thing is it's a great grant funding acquisition tool. Funders, whether it's state, whether it's federal, whether it's Penvest, a nonprofit, they like to see if you put in for a grant that you have some planning already behind it. You've put thought into it, that you've had buy-in, that it's not something where you're like, oh, there's money available, we'll throw something together. A sustainability plan will give you the background that you need that will make you more competitive in a grant environment. Perfect example is Cheltenham Township. Very shortly after they adopted their plan, they were a recipient of a DVRPC grant to do energy efficiency audits for their municipal buildings. And I was part of that committee, and I know the only reason they got it is because they had a plan. They could argue, we are prepared. We are committed. I just alluded to Cheltenham Township. They haven't adopted a municipal sustainability plan. The logistics of that was they have a planning contract with the county. They decided to pursue that in addition to everything else that they were doing, so it was a contract add-on. Collegeville Borough is in the process of working on a municipal sustainability plan. They are getting near adoption, probably before the end of the year. For them, it became a contract item. It was just something that we worked on with them as part of their contract, no additional cost. The sustainability planning process, just to give you a quick idea of how this will go, what's involved. You start off with the kickoff. Usually you have a steering committee, a smaller group that helps guide the actual what's included, what's not included. They're the ones that check the grammar, fill up the pages with red ink. You also usually have a larger stakeholder committee. That group is there to give ideas. They're there for public buy-in, to help you think of what is best and get the public opinion. Throughout this whole process, communication is key. One of the tools that we've begun to use through this process, which is very useful, is we set up a website. Because you need to be able to interact with the stakeholders, with the steering committee on a regular basis, a Google site map is great because you can let people know when meetings are, you have calendars, they can download documents, they can upload documents, they can give you comments. But no matter what, communication is key. As a planner, this is the part where we geek out a little bit for the background information. How sustainable is Pottstown Township and the borough government? So we do a lot of GIS mapping for Collegeville. We did a tree canopy map where we know exactly where the trees are and how much they cover in the township. This is mapping that you don't really get in other products and other planning products. An impervious surface map for Cheltenham Township. Once again, using aerials, every impervious surface mapped. Gives you an idea of target areas for stormwater management improvements. You also, because sustainability is so holistic, you also need to look at public health issues. And this is just an example of a food access map for Cheltenham Township. Every place where somebody could get food, and the quarter mile, which is your normal walking distance, what people would normally be willing to walk to get there, so you can start to see if there are food deserts in the community. So we do a whole bunch of mapping. One of the things that we also do is we look at the zoning in the Saldo, and we do a sustainability audit where we look at roadblocks and opportunities to sustainability, and we give a report on this. This is a snapshot of the report card for East Greenville Borough. We did a sustainability audit for them. After we have the baseline, after we have the background information, then we get in the process of actually writing the plan. Start off, the most important is your goals. You have to create goals. What are the goals for the township, for the borough, I mean? We usually do goals and then we do objectives for those goals. The idea being, when you cite it in a grant application, if you can say this, what we want to fund meets this objective of this goal in our adopted sustainability plan, it's a much stronger, a much stronger resume builder for a grant application. Oh, let me go back. And then we do action items. What the borough can do, specific actions. I always say that a municipal government has three areas in which they can control. They can control their regulations, which is their zoning, their Saldo, their policies, which are behavioral controls within the borough operations and within the borough buildings, no idling, things of that nature. And then they can control their operations. When we do the baseline analysis, we use Energy Star Portfolio Manager. We use DVRPC energy analysis toolkits to look at vehicle emissions, streetlights, traffic signals, things like that. So we'll be able to make recommendations and actions on the operations of the borough. And then the last thing we do is we put it together into a plan. And everybody's plan will be different. It depends on what the borough, who your target audience is, what you think is the most effective means of reaching that target audience. And overall, it is about a 12 to 18-month process to do the plan. And that was it. Thank you very much for putting us in the beginning of the agenda. My mother-in-law, who is watching a 2-year-old, will be very appreciative.
Questions? We'll be discussing this for item number 7, I guess, as far as well, I guess it would be to decide whether or not we would want to move forward this, to list it for Monday. Yeah.
Oh, are we deciding that now?
No,
Oh.
Monday. Well, we're going to decide to list it Monday. Anyone have any objections?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
No objections, but I do have just one question, comment. In concept, it all sounds good. Montgomery County is a very wealthy county. Pottstown, the borough of Pottstown, does not share in that wealth, so we have needs that are very different from the other municipalities. And I just want to be assured that no governing body is going to be deciding or overriding any decisions that the borough makes for itself, for its
our
own
plan.
protections.
The county will be the facilitator, but we will be the lead in this process, so moving forward with it. And I see John probably start of the year, maybe January. Is that too soon to look at starting, or?
I mean, no.
Till we get things in place, and we're entering budget right now, but till we start getting in touch with the stakeholders and all that's going to be needed, so management will be in.
I guarantee you, if I hear on Wednesday morning that you guys want to pursue this, I will probably be looking at maps of Pottstown Borough that morning in preparation. So.
Okay? All right, it'll be listed for Tuesday. Thank you very much. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we're having a presentation by Pottstown Score. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Let me begin by saying thank you for giving us a few minutes to speak with the council. My name is Peter McFarland. I am the chairman of the Marketing and Outreach Committee for Pottstown Score. With me is Jerry Stevick, who is the recently appointed chairman of Pottstown Score. We just wanted to take a few minutes with you this evening because this chapter, while it's been in Pottstown for some number of years, has been pretty quiet in the last few. And we wanted to either introduce, if you're not familiar, or reintroduce our resources, capabilities, and our desire to be involved in any way we can to assist Pottstown and its residents. SCORE is a nonprofit resource partner of the United States Small Business Administration. We receive a stipend every year from the Small Business Administration for our operations. We also hold certain workshops and charge small fees for some of those workshops, not all, to derive some funds for our operation. But essentially, our operation and our counseling services to any one of our clients is free. SCORE is a national organization, and in 2012 created over 37,000 new businesses, 82,000 new jobs, and over 50,000 businesses increased their revenue with some help and guidance and involvement with SCORE members around the country. Typically, SCORE members are building entrepreneurship type, early stage entrepreneurs, small business owners, startup businesses, some established businesses as well, who seek counsel and advice from SCORE members who are retired executives. SCORE is the acronym for Service Corps of Retired Executives. So persons like Jerry and myself are retired. We use our own experience to help people starting out in business to solve problems and make sure they don't risk their investment unnecessarily and give them the best chance for success. The Pottstown chapter, as I mentioned, started in 1991. Last year, we utilized 33 active counselors, like Jerry and I. We held 371 counseling sessions, held 15 workshops with over 135 attendees. Typical of that is Jerry's Barbershop, who started out with an idea and now operates a successful barbershop. We provide workshops, local experts, some from outside our own resources. We're having one actually tonight as we speak on social media for about 25 residents in the borough and in the area around the borough to help them in their business dealings to be more viable and competitive and visible on social media. And that is a $20 charge for those people, so it's a very small investment to help them get that element of their business up on the web where they can be more successful. We also are in the process of doing a 6-part seminar on how to start and operate a small business. These run every Monday night. The first session was free so that interested parties could come at no risk and charge. And if then they saw in that introductory meeting that they were interested, we then signed them up for approximately $120 for 5 additional sessions. In those sessions, they learned how to write a business plan, how to deal with QuickBooks, how to apply for financing with local banks, how to identify their competition and their target markets. So all of the tools that help them as small business owners become a sustainable, to use that word, business environment here in the Pottstown area. We also have other workshops, as I mentioned, like QuickBooks and bookkeeping and social market media. There is enormous additional resources we can also offer online through the National Score website, which we make our clients aware of as well. Another example is Jason, who started up with an idea for a food truck, and now I believe has 6 food trucks, operates in Pottstown as well as in other locations at functional events, and is very successful over the last 3 years. Since he came to us with his idea, he has a very sustainable business. So our strategic initiatives are to grow the chapter, increase the positive impact on this community, do more workshops and in more locations with more topics, host roundtables in discussions on how to improve the economic environment of the area or how to help small business people network and connect for their own mutual benefit. And we seek partnership opportunities with local organizations like the Tri-County Chamber of Commerce, which we've gotten involved with. We will be getting involved also with the Rotary and other organizations like that to make them more aware of our ability to help their constituents. So we would like to partner with local, public, civic, and private interests, continuously improve the business climate in the Pottstown area, and we seek to partner with you to mutually benefit your client base, which is your citizens. And that's really our interest and our reason for coming. My graphics guy got a little excited there. I don't do graphics, I just push the buttons. So some thoughts we had for this. You could help us encourage new business initiatives in the downtown district if you happen to know an individual or someone in one of your wards that is trying to get something started. We are more than happy to just sit down and talk with them and give them the ins and outs. We are not selling them on the idea that they should do this. We are making sure that they do it with a rational plan that gives them the best chance of success. And candidly, we have some people come in to visit with us that after 2 meetings realize this is not a good idea and I shouldn't invest my $5,000 in this. But that in itself, we think, is very helpful because otherwise these people would have spent that money and probably lost it and then missed an opportunity. We think we can help inform some new and startup businesses about any properties or programs or partnerships you might have available. We think we can be a resource for the borough with any troubled businesses. And as I mentioned earlier, we would be happy to host some roundtable for discussions of any type within the borough on helping get economic development going. So our message here is that SCORE is, we're at 123 High Street in the New York Plaza building. We've been there for a number of years, and we intend to stay there. We are open for walk-in sessions every Tuesday and Thursday, and of course our website, which is pottstownscore.org, allows people to request counseling either online or set up an appointment. I myself will have 2 client counseling sessions tomorrow. Jerry's got 4 or 5 people he's working with at various stages. So we're very busy with some people, but we are looking for more members to help us with this and for more clients. I think we all share in the desire to help improve the economic environment. We think we have resources and the capability and experience to help people in this borough be more successful. So we just want to make you all aware of that. Another example, just to close, is this St. Peter's Bakery, which was also a SCORE client. They're in St. Peter's, Pennsylvania. Again, a startup idea, a very successful small business right now. So that's it. We'll be brief. You got a big agenda. We'd be happy to take any questions. But
Yeah. How far is your area that you cover?
it's not a defined geography, but what would you say, 25 miles?
We essentially cover the same tri-county area as the
As the
tri-county area chamber plus the Pennsburg area chamber.
And you're familiar with Pate and Steve Bamford?
Yes.
We're familiar with them, and our intent is to get more involved with them as well.
Any other questions?
Are you continuing with bringing the community college partnership together in the downtown area? Is there any more movement or discussion in that?
There's a new dean, Jose, I forget his last name,
Yeah, I met him.
who came to visit us, and we just got a note from him 2 days ago that that's moving, and he expects to have something happen soon. So, yes, we'll be involved with that.
Thank you.
If someone were watching and they were interested, is there a membership fee of some sort? Or
No.
Interested in being a volunteer, you mean?
a member of
No, there's no fee. There's no fee involved at all for either the clients or the volunteer members.
Of your 371 counseling sessions, how many came to fruition here in the borough?
You can say, well, I wasn't involved last year,
I don't know if I know the exact question there, but I recently looked at the last year's clients, and around 46% of them are inside the 2 zip codes that are Pottstown. The rest are all over the western region.
And they have opened?
They don't all open, no, but a vast majority find out it's not what they really want to do in life. Because it's work.
And that's okay.
That is okay. In fact, for many people, it's good. We had an example last year. A lady had a product she wanted to make, and we walked her through what it would really cost to do that.
Right.
It was so expensive that there was no one in the world who was going to buy these things. So, people come in. I've been blown away by the ideas that come through the door. It's really amazing. And but some of them are just ideas, and you have to. If you're going to start investing your life and your money in it, it's got to be done right.
And to clarify, the 371 would include multiple meetings with the same clients as well.
Oh, okay.
So there's one client here in Pottstown. She has developed organic and she knows better than I, but soaps and lotions that she's now making in her kitchen and walking and selling to salons and beauty areas. And her sales are very small, but for her efforts and her initial effort, her success is quite good. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't realize or understand, how do I take this now from my kitchen sink to something that can become a business that makes money. So those are the kinds of people. And we have others that have, somewhat crazy ideas, want to open a landscaping business next to Home Depot. You might want to think that one through. But again, it's hopeful, because without us, they might have leased some property and bought some plants and gone under. So we feel success and satisfaction in helping them as well, to prevent them from doing the steps. So we don't have an agenda. We're not pushing people to do things they shouldn't do, nor are we trying to talk them out of anything. We're just trying to make sure they understand clearly what they need to do. We don't sell for them. We don't market for them. We just show them how to do it.
Are there any recurring complaints about one of the qualities here in the town? Is there something the borough is not doing properly or could do better?
I can't say we have recurring complaints. We do run evening workshops, and a couple of the young women are nervous about parking here at night, the lighting and so forth. They're a little bit. We just escort them in and out. I mean, there's no perceived danger. It's just their anxiety. So I haven't heard anything else that I would suggest to you needs to be.
There's nothing you could recommend that we change?
No, not yet. Give free rent downtown. We could probably give you some new businesses there, but that may not be within your purview. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your presentation, and that's the only way we as a council find out entirely what's going on sometimes. The last I had touch with you guys, you were at the BIE building there on Charlotte Street.
It was a while ago, I think, yes.
Yeah, so I didn't even know you had moved and tore downtown. So.
Well, as I said, the chapter's been a bit quiet, but more recently, Jerry's taken the chairmanship. We're seeking out some new members, and while we've been continuing to counsel clients, we'd like to get more involved and get more clients.
Well, getting in touch with civic groups like the Rotary and Bucks, all of them can certainly help.
And just takes time and energy.
Yeah.
Ginny has our contact information.
I've recently retired, so I know.
Yeah.
I was
All right.
a school teacher,
Okay.
though.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Okay, next is a presentation from Traffic Planning and Design, the Pottstown Area Signals Project. Closed loop. Finally going to be opened.
My name's Don Jacobs. I'm from Traffic Planning and Design. Our headquarters is right up the road on High Street, 3 miles to the east in Saratoga Commons. And we are designing the Pottstown Signals Project on behalf of the borough. It's what's called a local lead project, wherein the borough is taking the lead, but the funding is being channeled through PennDOT. It's federal funding in terms of all phases of the project: design, utilities, right-of-way acquisition, construction inspection. It's a fairly large project. 39 intersections involved in the borough. There are other intersections in other municipalities involved: Lower Pottsgrove Township, Upper Pottsgrove Township, West Pottsgrove Township, Limerick Township, and then North Coventry Township in Chester County as well have intersections in the project. So it really is a Pottstown area signals project. Just briefly, the improvements, the range of improvements that are being made through the project: updated traffic signal timings, time allocation, vehicle clearance intervals, pedestrian crossing times, the synchronization of the traffic signals between intersections, which is going to be enhanced by the physical interconnection of all the signals in the project with fiber optic cable. Communications to the PennDOT Traffic Control Center in King of Prussia, communications to the various municipal offices, buildings in this area, including Pottstown Borough. New traffic signal controllers, modernization of equipment, the traffic signal supports, for the most part, being replaced unless they're practically new. Light emitting diode or LED signal heads, which are the newer, brighter signal heads that take less electricity. Vehicle detection being upgraded, signage, pavement marking improvements, of course. ADA compliant pedestrian facilities, curb ramps, countdown hand-manned pedestrian signals, push buttons, improvements to the bridge carrying Hanover Street over Schuylkill River, sidewalk improvements and lighting improvements on that bridge that are being delivered through the project, battery backup systems, emergency preemption systems being upgraded, luminaires coming off of the mast arms to provide better lighting at the signalized intersections. Current construction cost estimate for the job is somewhere between 11 and 12 million. So as I said, it's a sizable project. In terms of what the borough input or items on the borough's agenda that I can point to. We need traffic signal maintenance forms signed and a related resolution, which were recently provided to the borough management. And those are needed by the end of October to keep the process moving. They're fairly standard forms. Prohibition of on-street parking for Charlotte Street just south of Mervine Street. That's related to striping in a northbound left turn lane at that location. Removal of signals at High Street and Rice Street and at High Street and Dale Place. I believe that's been discussed in the past and resolutions passed in that regard. Roland Street is slated for signal removal, but that's also on the borough's radar in terms of the school and bicycle pedestrian circulation plan. And PennDOT recently approved putting the rectangular rapid flashing beacons in at that intersection. So the traffic signal for vehicles would come out, but the overhead warning flashing signals to enhance pedestrian movements across High Street at Roland Street would go in through this project. There is an engineering supplement wrapping up final design to be processed that we've begun the coordination with the borough and PennDOT on that engineering supplement as well. So that's really the summation of the borough items at this point. Just in terms of schedule, aiming to finalize the plan specifications and estimates the end of this year. Complete the right-of-way acquisition. PennDOT is overseeing the right-of-way acquisition with another consulting firm. There are fairly extensive, not in terms of area, but in terms of number of properties involved. When you look at the little corners of right-of-way and the traffic signal easements, and I believe there's one temporary construction easement on the job. It's a lot of coordination to take care of a lot of little pieces of ground from different property owners, which is underway concurrently with finishing the design. And really, that's going to be the step, I think, that is the most tight on the critical path, as we say, with getting the project advertised. But the project is scheduled for advertisement in 2015, and that's where we stand.
Questions? This is different than the recently Act 89 monies and so forth that's available, the Green Light Go program?
This was funded long before that came to fruition.
That's what I mean. I mean, this will not be needed to enhance or anything?
No.
Okay. Because I'm looking at that, I mean, this year for that program, it's only and it's just strictly PennDOT. This is federal monies also involved.
Correct.
Right. Because this is state monies here, and they're only allowing $10 million for the first year across the state. So we would eat that up on just this project. So.
Sure. I mean, PennDOT has said that this is funded and ready to go in 2015.
Do you have any extra copies of the list of projects you have there?
Just what I handed around. I think there was a few extra.
I'm talking about the specific list of projects. This is just locations.
And you
List of
mean
projects you're reading from.
the list of improvements?
Yeah.
I could email that to the borough.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, if you could do that to our borough manager, then he can disperse it.
Sure.
Thank you. Anything else? So I guess Monday we will be voting on, I guess, a resolution, whatever else we need to get this project moving ASAP.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So much.
Okay, the next thing is the proclamation. I guess this is yours, Mayor, Alliance for Aviation Across America.
It was moved to Monday.
Oh, it's going to be
Jenny
Monday?
said, yeah.
Okay. Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Creatures of habit. Part, SEPTA MOU, this you, Erica?
The part in SEPTA MOU has been an agreement. It's been in existence for several years. When SEPTA considered having commuter service in the borough of Pottstown, entering the borough, part and SEPTA entered into this so that it would be mutually beneficial. So we have an inter travel agreement, and so we're updating that now because their routes have changed, our routes have changed, and it's just really an update to make sure that we capture all of the different changes and we agree to the same terms. So we have a good working relationship with them, the college, and with the outlets. It works really well. So if you have any questions regarding the agreement, please let me know.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. The next one is Penn Environment, Global Warming Solutions. You received a document concerning this, and I received an email from Chloe, I'm not sure, Kaufman, and she's working with communities across Pennsylvania to basically in support of curbing carbon pollution by passing a non-binding resolutions. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh have passed resolutions, and there's a sample resolution that has been sent to us, and that's basically all I have as far as information, I guess, with the EPA and also the DEP probably in Pennsylvania. And it's basically just trying to get some support to decrease our carbon pollution from power plants. So that's open for discussion. Like I said, Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia have already passed resolutions, and I don't know how many other communities. You haven't heard anything from the Boroughs Association as far as in favor of or against?
Not specifically, no.
I would suggest that we just not deal with this. I'm not in favor of putting it on for action.
Like I said, I just received an email, and I was passing it on to council as to what they would like to do. Any other thoughts? Okay. So I will make sure that I'll send an email saying that we're not interested at this time. Indeed, appointment 2 5-year terms to expire 1/1/15 and 1/1/17. I guess it's Jeff Hartman and Burke Myers. Those are the two, Sheila? Any questions on those appointments?
Sheila, could you tell us a little bit about these gentlemen?
Bert Myers owns
Myers Auto on Hanover Street. He is extremely tech savvy and has asked to be on the board so that he can help us continually to update website and get the merchants on board with getting websites, things in that matter. So he'll be a good asset for that. Jeff Hartman is, Dr. Hartman is the high school principal at Pottstown. He and I have had many discussions about getting involved in the community. He works well with the students, getting the students involved in the community. So again, another real asset to Bedita to have that connection.
Any other questions? Okay, they will be listed, or someone, 2 names will be presented Monday, Tuesday evening. Okay, the next item is the House Bill 1671. I also received this through email from the Boroughs Association, and basically asking us to send a letter of opposition to Senator Mensch and our representatives Hennessy and Painter concerning this bill. And in a nutshell, I guess it has to do with videotaping our executive sessions.
Yeah, actually, it's pending before the House, and as Steve indicated, it amends the State Sunshine Act. There are really three issues that are somewhat unique in the bill. First is a requirement, as Steve mentioned, to record executive sessions and to make sure that those recordings are available for up to 1 year. Not that they'd be made public, but they'd be recorded in the event they'd be subpoenaed in some type of court proceeding. Again, this seems to be contrary to the purpose and intent of executive sessions to ensure that the discussions that council has in executive session is confidential and privileged. The other component of the bill would be to essentially require that if council went into executive session to discuss a personnel matter, that you have to identify the person you were going to discuss. Again, somewhat unusual in the scope of discussing matters involving personnel and the reasons you can do that. Frankly, naming someone could just even implicate or at least provide innuendo to someone when there's really nothing to be concerned about. And finally, it probably wouldn't apply to the borough, but would require a written opinion from the municipal solicitor prior to going into executive session in the event the solicitor was not at the meeting. I'm not sure of the genesis of this bill. I'm not sure who introduced it. I'm not really sure how it got there, but again, PSAB made us aware of its pendency, and if you feel that it's inappropriate or the provisions of the bill are inappropriate, would suggest that you listen to your council president's advice and vote to oppose the bill and notify your state representatives that you're opposed to the changes to the Sunshine Act.
So just for clarification, the video would not be susceptible to right to know?
No, and the way I read it, it's recording, not video. So okay. It would be. I don't think it'd be video. I think it'd be audio.
Audio. Okay.
But no, it would not be.
It's either.
Yeah. I mean, you could do either, but again, typically it'd be recording.
I mean, seeing as I got this from the Boroughs Association, I really think we ought to support, send a letter of opposition to this bill. And
I agree. It's defeating the purpose of the executive session.
And, you know, certainly we carry and take our solicitor in with us who keeps us, you know, following the legal terms of what executive session is. So that's certainly, to me, satisfies that need. So, all right, we will have a letter listed for Tuesday evening, and we'll have it for vote. Schuylkill River Greenway Association, temporary construction easement. I guess it's you.
I believe, Erica, you prepared on this one? Erica's been working with them.
Okay. I think the Schuylkill River Heritage Area had presented a few months ago regarding the Riverwalk project that they're doing at the Heritage Area, and it's about a quarter-mile space between the actual trail and the back of the Schuylkill River Heritage Area building. And they are looking to install 5 interpretive centers and a trail there to experience the woodlands aspect of the area. In the process of doing that, we're working on a temporary construction easement. So they provided a sample easement. We have a few things to sort out on that document, but it's pretty straightforward. They're looking to procure services of a design professional to get that going in the next few months. So this is one step to go in that direction. And then the borough will work with them on the development of the project, continuing on from this point. So that's the basis of this agreement.
Thank you, Eric. Council may recall when the Heritage Area was here before, they requested our permission to build this trail that would overlap on property that we own to begin with. And if I recall correctly, council approved at that time that we move forward with the grant application.
But I understand this just to be a temporary easement, not
Correct.
even a permanent easement on the property.
Correct.
Correct.
Any questions? All right, hopefully they don't find any turtles down there. It'll be listed for Tuesday. Sly Fox, long-term lease for property.
As you're all aware, several times a year, Sly Fox Brewing Company has come to council, asked for permission to use the lot that we own on the Circle of Progress for additional parking for their events. We've come to realize this is a rather cumbersome process, bringing each event to you, and each event the solicitor has to draft a lease agreement for that one-time use. I spoke with the owner of Sly Fox, Mr. John Giannopoulos, and he has asked for permission to enter into a long-term rental agreement for the purpose of their use of that lot, and in return, they will maintain, do the grass cutting and the maintenance of the woodland area that's on that lot at no charge to the borough, asking that we charge them $1 a year for the lease of the property. So that is the proposal if council's interested.
And this would be a year-to-year lease?
Correct.
And they would, like Fox would have sole use of the parking lot then?
Correct.
Do we use it for anything else now?
Just to cut the grass.
It would be a typical lease arrangement. They would
with insurance
indemnify, hold harmless for any incidents or acts that happen on it.
But I think in theory, the concept of the lease would be, it'd be utilized for their special events.
Correct.
Not that they'd be using it on a daily basis or anything like that. It would just target those events and then say they can use it for that, and in exchange, they would maintain the lot. So it's not like it would be used continuously. It would just be the occasional event.
Correct.
Even if they could let us know through email or some sort that they're going to be using it on this day, just for...
That would be part of the lease. We'd have to either in the document itself identify the events or at least require notice in advance of the events, certainly.
Would they be getting exclusive use?
Well, again, no one's written the document, but the way I would write it is they would have exclusive use for the events they designate, but beyond that, they wouldn't. I would see no reason in the event the borough had a need for it on the other 360 days of the year.
Okay, so we can use it for other purposes.
We've not gotten to the level of detail yet, but certainly I would suggest that.
So would I.
Whenever they came to us in the past for those individual events, how much did we charge them?
Nothing.
Now we're going to be getting maintenance on that property. The other thing, too, this is a case where the borough actually, thought, this is probably a good idea to approach them on doing it. So then, this is how the borough does do things as far as making life better for people as far as with our businesses. It was, one of those things that, whenever they would come to us, we'd have to go through the process. This way it's done and over. It makes their life a lot easier. Okay, Pottstown Halloween Parade, October 22nd, 2014. This is to close High Street.
It's a request to close High Street from, I believe, Madison Street to York Street for the purpose of conducting the Halloween Parade on the 22nd of this month. And for the use of the park.
Okay, any questions on this? This is subject to review by solicitor and the borough manager and our police chief, correct?
Fire chief
And
also.
Fire chief. Public Works Facility Bid Award opening 10/7/14.
The bids are still being reviewed. In fact, we have a meeting tomorrow morning, or a conference tomorrow morning with our architect to discuss where we're at this point. We should have that information for you for Monday night.
Okay, Ringing Hill Fire Company Emergency Use Agreement. I guess this is you, Mark?
As council may recall, and I believe our auditor pointed out, that we needed a business continuity plan in place in the event that something would happen that we were unable to occupy this building. And if that ever occurs, I hope it's on a very temporary basis. But nonetheless, there is a need for us to have an alternate site, and a site that is prepared to be put into action rapidly. We've explored the options. There are insurance policies that you can purchase where vendors provide you with that opportunity. They run anywhere from $600 to about $1,500 a month, which I think is rather exorbitant. Nonetheless, we were in contact with Ringing Hill Fire Company and were able to negotiate agreement with Ringing Hill that in the event we were unable to occupy this building, we would have the use of their facility, their parking facility, the building, restrooms, and alike for the purpose of conducting borough operations. Negotiated a fee if it would occur no charge leading up to the event or no charge after the event, but in the event that we need the facility, it would be at $900 per day. That would cover all utilities, all electrical usage of the facility. And if the period of time would exceed 14 days, it would go to $650 a day, with an understanding that we would pay the difference in their electric costs based on their average throughout the year. I pray we never have to invoke this agreement, but we need it in place. We've already negotiated with them that we have a lockbox at their facility with all the software that we would need and all the passwords and key codes that we would need to get back online so that we can continue to conduct business. Concurrent to that, and it really has nothing to do with this agreement, but so you know, we also have our software in regards to our finance sits ready to go at an unrelated site, and we back up to it on a regular basis. So if we were to get into that situation, we could continue to conduct financial business uninterrupted. The request is to allow us to move forward and enter into the agreement with Ringing Hill Fire Company, subject to further review by the solicitor, of course.
Were there any other sites considered?
There were other sites considered, but that became logistically the one that made the most sense. And the other sites that we considered were really not interested in entertaining the possibility.
Okay. I have no idea whether that's a good rate, or, I mean, can you explain how you came about that rate or that cost?
The rate was negotiated. We postured the concept of Ringing Hill. Their board met. They offered up their prices, which were substantially higher than where we're at right now. The rates basically, by comparison to the options that are out there through the insurance, come in much less in the long term. Even with the insurance, the one insurance company that I looked at, it was $500 a month for usage. That's all the time, $500 a month to have the insurance. If you use their services, you had it free for, I believe it was 90 days, and after that, a fee was assessed, and the fee was very comparable to what we're paying for one day. So it's a pretty interesting.
So you pay nothing. It kind of bounces out, so you pay nothing before and after.
Right.
And then you only need it in the event that you need it.
Correct. Chances are we'll never need it,
yeah,
but we have it.
Any other questions?
Is this part of the overall emergency planning of the state? Is this like an arm of that?
It's nothing that's mandated by the state. It's something that recognizing that we need to be prepared to continue to serve our residents in the best capacity that we can. The business continuity plan planning was in progress long before the auditors pointed out that in the upcoming years the state will require some type of plan in place, but it doesn't dictate that you have to go to an off-site. The plan is more for being able to continue your current business practices as far as delivering services.
So what you said that you have an alternate site for the financial, so it's all kind of like schematically hardwired.
Well, the reason we have an alternate site is because we want to carry a live backup, and we were not comfortable sending that live backup to a facility that really doesn't have on-site security. Obviously, if we occupy, we then have on-site security.
Okay. So that'll be listed for Tuesday evening. All right, we're up to comments from citizens present.
Carla Edwards.
I'm here. My husband and I had just recently purchased a home here in Pottstown. Every time we wanted to do something, there was an ordinance where we had to come and get a permit. Just recently, I had spoken with Ginny. I guess that would be you. And I want to say thank you very much because Ginny did a lot of research for me for a few days to see if there was an ordinance against burying dead animals. My neighbor had buried her dead cat next to my dining room window. Now, our houses are only 8 feet from each other. I find that Pottstown has no ordinance whatsoever on this. So I am asking that an ordinance be put in place. for the borough of Pottstown. I really don't want to go through this again.
It'll become part of our committee. We have an ad hoc committee right now that is dealing with the animal ordinances, so that's something that will be...
And can you tell me about how long that would take to put an ordinance in place?
It would really be based upon how long it would take council to approve the draft of the document. Once the document was prepared, and I would suggest it would probably be 60 to 90 days, then it would require a 2-week notice for advertising. So we're probably talking about 3 months.
Oh, boy.
And the thing is, our committee's nowhere even near, getting to a point, we just started meeting, addressing some of the ordinances and so forth. Now, that one there could be, I guess, pulled out separately.
Yeah, that could be a standalone.
Yeah.
If it's something that
I
the
would
committee
really
wants
say
to recommend.
At best, maybe make a requirement of how deep you bury the animal, because I can't imagine a buried cat smelling unless they didn't bury it.
Excuse me, but we live in a borough, and I just don't believe in a borough there should be dead animals buried. We're 2014 now. That's something that our grandparents had done. That shouldn't be done today. And if they're going to do it, go outside of the borough, go in Upper or Lower Pottsgrove where there's more area. I just don't think it should be really dead center in the borough.
They buried it on their property, correct?
They buried it, yes, on their property.
I mean, minimally, just health-wise, there should be some issues, I think, involved with it, but I think if the animal is cremated and then they buried it, that's a different story.
Yes, and, I really don't even want to open my dining room window. I did try to talk to her. I asked her why didn't she bury it on her side with her dining room window. Why mine? We're new to the area. We just don't want, this going on.
I know some townships do have that ordinance where you can't bury animals in your yards, and they ask if you go to sell your home, I know they ask sometimes if you have buried an animal in your yard, and I've heard already that people have had to remove them.
We own another home in another borough in the Lehigh Valley, and you cannot bury your animals in that borough. So, and I spoke with people from the state, and they said that the borough needs to put an ordinance in.
Okay, we will look at that. Yep.
Well, thank you.
That's the extent of the comments, sir.
Okay. Councilor's general discussion. Councilor Kirkland, anything? No. Councilor Gary?
Just wish everyone a happy Columbus Day and a happy Halloween, and I encourage everyone to take the time on the 22nd and come out and, if you're not participating in, at least watch the Halloween parade.
Councilor Williams? Councilor Crumpsell?
It's the Pick It Up Pottstown is on Saturday. I'll be there. At least, I believe it starts at 8, right, Sheila?
8 a.m.
Yeah, 8 a.m. That's it.
Is there? I guess there's not a rain day because they're forecasting rain for the AM.
No, but next year there will be.
Bring your raincoats.
So rain or shine.
Put one of those plastic bags on for a raincoat. Councilor Culp? Councilor Miller?
I'm also participating in Pick It Up Pottstown. Ward 3 is going to be meeting at 5th and York Street at 8 a.m. And then Sheila, we're all meeting at Smith Family Plaza at noon. Okay. And then you'll get back to me of where you want the bags left in that area, correct? I also want to report on the pet fair. 113 tables we had for the pet fair. That does not include food vendors. We only had 64 tables in 2013. There was an estimate of over 3,000 people that attended from 3 states. And our next planned event is for September 19th, 2015 at the same location, Memorial Park, and then hopefully we can work out some of the bugs that we had at this pet fair. But overall, it was very successful.
Hopefully with a bicentennial thing.
Absolutely.
Mayor?
Yes. I'd like to report that on October 26th, there's going to be a breakfast given at the Elks on High Street, I guess that's 61 High Street, by the Dough Club. And I plan to attend that breakfast, and it's 8 to 11, and it's $8 per person. And I have several other outstanding invitations, like to Kiwanis and other clubs. So I'm going to be following up with attending some of these community organizations and encouraging the public to be involved with their public events. I have a notice here from Sheila Dugan from Padita that the 29th Annual Candlelight House Tour and more is looking for additional homes to join in the tour. You can notify Sheila Duggan at 484-948-6061 or visit their website for more information, www.downtownpottstown.org. And the tour is scheduled for December 14th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. I also have a notice about the holiday sharing donor program for CADCOM. If anyone is interested in being a part of donating to families, older adults or couples, singles, that would like this application, please let me know. Also, the CADCOM telephone number is 610-277-6363. And by October 31st, you have to kind of sign up to donate. And the donation drop-off is December 8th through the 23rd. That way they can match up the donations to the requests. Thank you.
Okay, the only thing I have, Erica, do you want to talk about the CARES on the 24th?
Sure. The Pottstown CARES project is taking place again on Friday, October 24th. We have a rain date for Monday the 27th, but at 8 a.m. at the Hill School, the former hockey rink, ice hockey rink, will be gathering. By 8:45, we'll be having remarks. We want to make sure everything's organized, get all of our assignments together, and then we'll be heading out for a few hours. It'll be the Hill School, the Borough and School District and the college convening and joining forces on that day to clean up and spruce up the borough. And there's other special projects going on as well. The cluster religious communities, we are having a specific food and supply drive that day. We'll have an eco-waste unit at the Hill School. We'll have a blood drive at the school district, the high school. So if you are interested, please contact me as well if you'd like to take part in your own cleanup. We're gathering supplies and tools, and Pottstown Cares on our website, or you can just contact me to get more information. But I invite elected officials. We'll have a good day of everyone in blue and white. So.
Along with that, I know the cluster, you could get from them a list of their urgently needed items. We can get that on that website.
Yeah. We do have a specialized list of things that they have a higher need of.
Okay.
I wanted to also make available my personal cell phone number, 610-570-2482. That's 610-570-2482. And that's for community members that want to get in touch with me most directly. And that's where I'm working with people in the community that have various needs, and I'm resourcing and outsourcing those needs. Thanks.
Yes, and there is one executive session item concerning personnel. No action will follow.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Hello, my name is Michael Lenhart. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director for the Borough of Pottstown. And today I'm enjoying a beautiful day here at Manatawny Green Miniature Golf. It's Pottstown's own mini golf in the Parks and Rec system. Today we're playing the Parks and Rec Invitational. So we have some representatives here from Borough Council, the Borough staff, Borough Authority, some local groups such as Trilogy BMX are out here today celebrating our first year, our inaugural year of gameplay at Manatawny Green. We're open spring through the fall. We have seasonal hours during the height of the season, that's spring into summer. We're open from noon to 9, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And coming in through the fall, we open for evening hours from about 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. as long as the weather allows us to. We have lots of treats you can sample in our concession stand, including soft pretzels, hot dogs, and Nelson's ice cream. Hope that you'll join us out here at Miniature Golf and that you'll enjoy the beautiful park systems in the Borough of Pottstown.